we went for the break, Mr. Jenkins was still highlighting how clubs or teams or the different other administrators can sell that particular product. And also, do you know that product that you're selling, is it only ending on the football on the pitch, or there's a different other product so clubs can sell? So that is where we stopped at as we're going for the break.
Yes, so as I was sharing, that there's a lot of money in football in as regards to spend in the aspect of the sponsor or the partner thereof. But if a club realizes that you don't only have to be having a sponsor maybe on your shirt or on your brand, you know, on your jersey or on pitch, you can as well run campaigns during the league, during your games, during your friendlies. You can run campaigns. We've had very many campaigns, behavior change campaigns, which speak to our audiences, which speak to the men and the women who love football. Many of them. Nationwide campaigns. We had like the immunization recently, right? All those campaigns can be run actively during match days because the numbers be there. I mean, if you're telling people that they have to be counted, instead of telling them on TV, you will know they're going to be at Wankulukuku on Friday.
Yeah.
On Saturday, they will be at, let's say, at Nachivubo. On maybe Wednesday, they will be at Chitende. Tell them, because you have thousands of guys there, and the message will move on. But now, for these people who are doing these campaigns to understand that actually we need to use this club or this team for this, it has to be known. Somebody has to tell them. Somebody has to tell them.
Yeah. So
what would I do? I mean, you have to get the calendar of those behavior change campaigns, the likes of the World AIDS Day, Akina Women's Day. You know, be creative with those campaigns. You don't need to have to really get somebody who is like official sponsor or official partner. You can run campaigns, and those campaigns, by the way, make a lot of much more money than you'd expect. Because you run it for 10 match days, it's done, you onboard another, and in the end, you're actually nurturing brands to get the experience of working with your club. If, let's say, FIDA, right, or UN Women comes and runs a campaign of stop violence against women, you know, and they come with maybe ABCFC and CDCFC, and on Women's Day they do that campaign. They first have a game of women, they come and play, and because the guys in the pitch are actually men, right?
Yeah.
So the message is reaching the actual audience of guys, stop beating women. The guys are there. You're telling them, right? If that resonates well, it will not be easy for you to tell this UN agency or this brand or whichever company that, now, I think you saw what worked for you. Imagine we got to that match engagement in just 2 match days. What would happen if you onboard as a 3-year partner, right? And that would be seamless. That's why we are speaking of this as purely partnership. You're giving and they're also giving. You're getting and they're also getting. It's as simple as that, really.
Okay. Yeah. So when we get into terms of sponsorships and looking at clubs in Uganda, what are we doing wrong? What are we missing? What are clubs actually missing when it comes to sourcing out for these particular sponsorships? Maybe in terms of their considerations, what exactly are we lacking?
Now, it can't be a blanket statement of we are all lacking this. As I mentioned on the other plots of land, I said, all of them are not lacking the same thing. Different clubs are lacking different things, right?
Yeah.
But what I know that most of the clubs are lacking is the actual brand. The actual brand. In as far as, if you look at, even if you speak about just the age bracket of the majority, of course we all know it's majority are the youth and all that. If you randomly asked a club or what people are calling Gen Zs lately, if you ask them to mention maybe like 3 UPO players in the club that was maybe like 8th, you'll be shocked. But the sponsor wants these people, because the sponsor is looking for these numbers, right?
Yeah.
Now, the idea of, and that's why we are telling these clubs to get, even ourselves as UPL, to get the soccer from the pitch. It's very good. People are playing very well. Get it from the pitch, take it to these youth in all clusters of classes, meanwhile. In all clusters of classes.
Yeah.
Not a specific sect to these youth, right? Get that same football, take it to the boardrooms. Because that's where the budgets are. That's where the budgets are. You can make as much noise as you want. You can be as much talentful. I was sharing with someone a story that what is most important is being known in any case. And I think you'll agree, because if they're giving you those Guinness records things, the known aspect is what is most important. Of most fastest known man. Because of course the assumption is always there. Maybe there's somebody out there who is better, who is faster, but we don't know them. You can be claiming, I'm very good, I'm talented, I can score 80 goals, but nobody knows that. And he who alleges must prove.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you go to a brand, because brands don't work on assumptions, they don't work on hearsays, they don't work on you were trending on Twitter or what. They want actual numbers. And then they will ask you, okay, Jenkins, do you think we should give you money? Yes. If you bring maybe 100 cartons on your match day, how many would be bought? It depends on whether you're guessing. Because you don't know your fans, you don't know how much they spend. Because as a club that is really passionate about their fans, you must know how much they spend, what's their capacity. You could have a friend, interesting, you could have a friend maybe like at Peugeot. Peugeot have a very new car, 600 million, and they give you sponsorship. And you bring it to your fans. You've got the sponsorship, yes. But is it going to make sense for them? Do you get?
Yeah.
And of course you see they're not renewing, things will come up. But actually, what has happened is you've got a big sponsor, perfect. Now, since you've got a big sponsor, now start renewing or recruiting funds that the sponsor is going to appeal to. You can't change that. You can't chase away a sponsor because they don't speak into the audience that you have.
Yeah.
You can always recruit an audience. There are fans out there. People in soccer love Uganda. People in Uganda love soccer, sorry. But they have to know that you're interested in them. Clubs don't really, some clubs don't care about the fans.
Yeah.
Me, I know that. I've talked to fans and clubs don't want to know. If the match day is done, that is it. If there's a match tomorrow, they'll come and play. And they're doing well, and you can't blame the clubs.
Yeah.
Because the coach is doing their role, the investor is doing their role. But they need to know that the way you have that good striker, you're looking for that good defender, you need somebody to be striking your finance as well, defending your brand. The way that whole team is, you need an entire team to do that work for you. So that when you put out when you release your first 11 for whichever game you're going to have, it is 11 brands being shown out there. People will come for the numbers. Every organization wants the numbers. They all want the visibility. Now, what is assured is the league has the visibility because all clubs play.
Yeah.
They have the funds because, some have the funds. Now, the issue of fan engagement and recruitment and retaining is a whole different discussion, right? Because at the end of the day, what are you selling is not a big name. Because the big name in the big is big fan base, right? But it also doesn't mean categorically that you have the highest number of fans and they're not buyers. Because it's possible. I think you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
You can have 40,000 people who come for each of your match days and they have 20,000. Who, when a sponsor comes on board, if it's a banker, I avoid mentioning names, but if somebody comes on, they have to get a return for what they've invested. So, of course, the clubs have to do a lot of work, but the starting point is actually knowing that we need to have the brand. We need the funds and we need the money.
Okay.
Yes.
Very, very important points that you've mentioned there in terms of commercialization. Now, when you look at, one of the key aspects about commercialization, particularly in sports, is television broadcasting.
Yes.
And rights. And we've seen that, FUFA TV has come in and a couple of other maybe stations as well. Sure. these football matches today. Now, with the emergence over the past couple of years, say, of television into the Uganda Premier League,
Yeah.
what are some of the opportunities there that these football clubs, can take up in terms of the introduction of television in the UPL, and how can they make the most of it as well?
The very interesting bit about what I mentioned earlier on is being known. Now, you can't be known if you're not on media. Luckily enough for these clubs, they have FUFA media services. We have StarTimes as well. We have NBS, right? The clubs have to intentionally seek out to these media services because you have to be out there, right? This is a very good opportunity for them. They have to place themselves. We want to see next morning a marketing guy from a club here telling people, Banange, we have this on Saturday, come through, over and over again.
Yeah.
We have to use the media. I mean, you can't work without the media in any case. But now, luckily enough, we have media which is purely bent on sports. Now, how better else do you want that? Because you would have been going to maybe like another station and you're saying, that station has a lot of music and the guys there are not fans. You're saying, no, you have two options. You have the media, which has the not so soccer fans, but you can recruit them. Then you have a station or an entire media house that is doing purely sport. How would you not use that? Purely sport, right?
Yeah.
Meaning, even if you just say that tomorrow I'm on FUFA TV, nobody can ask you to speak about what. It is by default.
Yeah.
You're going to speak something to do with sports, right? Now, as the club, how have you used FUFA media services? How have you used StarTimes? I understand clubs have airtime on with FUFA.
Yeah.
And how many of them have used it, right? But now, as I said earlier, the club's not using that airtime. It's not the coach's problem or the owner's problem.
Yeah.
The team, the coach of the marketing team, you get. It means your striker is not that aggressive because they must know that. They must come through. Using media as a club is very essential. It's very important.
Okay.
Your matches have to be out there. Your brand has to be out there. Using digital, that one we can't. It's by
do
default.
without it, yes.
It's by default.
Today's day and age.
So, but they all work hand in hand. One important thing people have to know and realize and also be appreciative of is that I've had this discussion over and over again. I know I have some colleagues who are going to argue about it, but TV and radio are not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere. With the coming of, and we have digital, but the whole country doesn't stop in Kampala here.
Yeah.
Right? If you look for the numbers of how many people are online, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. It's not even 50% of the youth that are online. They're not. So TV and radio are not going anywhere. You have to use them for mass communication. Right? So if you're going to bend on digital, it is purely good. But you're forgetting one thing. The numbers that you need must resonate with the sponsor and partner you want. Right?
Yeah.
So the question begins or becomes, before you approach a sponsor or partner, you can ask yourself just in a very easy way. I was watching Sprint yesterday. Sprint is a docu-series for those guys who run. And one of the coaches told that American chick who was going to run, before she went onto the track, he asked her, who is the fastest? Then he told her, go and tell me. You get? Now, as a brand, as a club, before you go and approach that partner or sponsor that you want, you must have a question in your head. That question will help you answer all those queries. Do you deserve that partnership? Who is bigger? Because you might go to a brand that's even bigger than you, right? And you're telling them you want to give them visibility. And they're saying, my guy, look here, you haven't given yourself the visibility. You understand?
Yeah.
But of course, all that is work to do, right? So those questions, we have to first do an internal audit of ourselves as brand custodians to know that, look here, what are we missing? That's why I said it's not a blanket thing of, you know.
Yeah, everybody on the same page.
Yeah, what are we missing? What do we need? Who do we want to be like? We need to benchmark. Who do we want to be like? I've seen, and I know very many clubs and other people benchmark on the top institutions, which is a very big mistake, because there are stages to this thing. Even as a brand is transition in any case, there are very many clubs, interestingly, that me have been in football for the last, I think, like 7 months or so. But you talk to other leagues in other countries, not the big leagues really.
Yeah.
Their games will not give you audience as a club. They'll give you. There are clubs in very many countries, in Africa, in Europe, in what? Oh, listen, Nekatubi wants to call Liverpool. And that's how did you guys, you want to get what you want. But you can benchmark on clubs, locally, on the continent, and even globally, that will be very much willing to give you audience and advice. But you must first know that there is a patient in the house. That is the most important thing.
So with all that conversation and understanding the brand and how clubs can do that, is there a strategy by UPL to help them build their brands, or they're on their own?
Well, interestingly, one of the strategies is me being here. That's why I'm here, for starters. But also, we are organizing quite a number of workshops for the brands, brand handlers, and other stakeholders interested in marketing and sports marketing or a business. We're going to do workshops, branding workshops, marketing workshops, sales workshops, comms workshops, for them to come and get a feel of what should a sports brand look like. Because, you know, you could find somebody, they're very good with the game, the technicality, but the idea of branding is quite different. But the idea of also selling is also very different.
Yeah.
So you might be very good with graphics, purely good. You can do a very beautiful graphics thing, and people would, you get 10,000 likes. Then we say, tomorrow take it to the boardroom and sell it. And you can't. Right?
Yeah.
So we are doing branding workshops for these clubs. We are doing sensitizations, but we are also doing that hand in hand with the partners, because it's a two-way thing. The partners have to know the opportunities are there.
Yeah.
The clubs have to know they can sell.
Okay.
But the fans have to know they are what is being sold. Period.
And so when
Right.
after that is all said and done, where do you think that the UPL will be after all the workshops, after all the consultations, what have you? Where do you think the UPL will be with that level of commercialization that has been?
No, with that level of commercialization, I would give you the simplest opening statement that because me, I sold UPL as an entire league.
Yeah.
If I went to a partner and told them, my name is Jenkins, I represent UPL as commercial, and what I'm giving you are 16 brands with a combined audience of 12 million, wouldn't you buy that? You definitely buy that.
Definitely buy that.
Because each of those clubs has muscled up. So in the long run, we're going to see all the clubs leveling up to the maybe standard branding procedures, standard selling procedures, and the issue of commercial and finance, because me, I'm a money guy, will be done. We shall be now discussing other issues, but as far as I'm concerned, I only discuss commercial things. So that is what we want to speak, and that change is coming closely. From the fan experience, enhancing fan experience, enhancing partner experience, right? Putting the brands out there, recruiting fans in all aspects of ages and categories, engaging them on all platforms that are available, like using these media houses, going on ground, doing campaigns and activations, doing clubs must have their merchandise out there. A lot of things are not being done, I'm telling you. A lot of things. Now, all of these things are going to be done. And when I come back here, I think you'll justify that.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah,
We shall wait and see.
Clearly what that guy said was nothing theoretical but purely practical.
All right, we shall wait and see. But yeah, Our time is for spent for this conversation, and we hope it was resourceful for you who's watching us. And you've got something or two that you could try and implement wherever you are. As he has mentioned, UPL is going to organize some workshops for those commercial persons in clubs to see how they can get back, impart that knowledge in their teams, and build their particular brand. So that is it for that particular conversation. We wrap it all up, taking a look at today's teaser question, of which Mr. Jenkins Matovu here in studios will engage on that after giving us knowledge about commercial, being a money guy. Let us see if he could also turn out to be a teaser guy. So let us have the teaser displayed on the screens and we see if he could give it a try. If not, then we shall give him the correct answer. So there you go. The teaser is that which of the following words do not belong in the group and why? The first is corset, coaster, sector, escort, and courts. Which of those words do not belong in the group, and why do you think they don't belong there?
I think
Yes.
I think Costa doesn't belong there.
Why?
Why do you think so?
Because all the words I've seen there have something to do with the legal aspect. The court, of course, the judge has escorts.
The corset?
All right, so that's what you've settled on?
Yeah, purely.
Okay.
Let us take a look at the answer. I said the answer is Costa,
Costa.
No.
You said Costa.
and the answer is courts.
Really?
All the other are anagrams of each other.
I did
There's a
see-
corset, there's a coaster, there's a
and-
sector, escort, and courts.
Wow. I
So
should,
the answer is
I should have
Courts.
done very good research.
But nice try, a good try.
the money
Next time
has
better.
failed.
When you
Money
come
has
back,
failed.
when you
The
come
money
back to
has
justify
failed.
yourself, maybe you'll try again.
Try again. Because we normally give out something, but the money has failed.
Sure.
Yeah, next time.
I'll do better next time. Definitely.
Next time better. But yeah, that is the day's teaser question. Wait for another one tomorrow, and it will be another chance for you to try again. So coming up next is Star Select with Prosiprona, and she'll be taking you straight to midday as you enjoy music.